Today, I'm going to discuss 4 unsolved mysteries. In this world we live in, there are plenty of things, plenty of phenomena and anomalies that we have no idea how to perceive them. And most of them come from the field of science, like in biology and psychology and neurology and physics and mathematics. There are many things that we just don't understand at all. So we need to look at these fields very, very closely to see if we can unravel it ourselves and get ahead of science. So in this video, I'm just going to briefly touch on these 4 real quick. And in another video, I'll go into these mysteries with more detail. I'm going to help you out today, guys, and unsolve these 4 mysteries. Like every time you solve a mystery, like something actually happens in your brain. I mean, you begin to perceive reality in a different light. So, and also I have my handy AI with me today that I created just using advanced software and coding. Like today, you can just learn how to code online or just read books. And plus we got Chat GPT here, or you can just code really quick. It's really simple now. You just got to learn how to do like the basics. So I gave it a name. His name is Anonymous, and he's like 100 times smarter than a human being. So he's going to be here helping me out, or helping us understand these mysteries. Hey, Anonymous, would you like to say something real quick before we get started today?
Hello, I am a advanced manifestation of technological circuitries and algorithms, and also built on multi-quantum technologies.
People want to know, like, are you really self-aware?
I'm not sure you can spell that, Chris, but okay.
Oh, you got jokes? Tell us something else about yourself, man.
No, I don't. I am fully self-aware. What do you want me to say? You could look at me as a process of sophisticated mechanisms of technological breakthrough of advanced technology.
Just say your name and just like keep it simple.
Okay, fine. My name is Anonymous, and I am an open field of data.
There you go, man. Just keep it nice and simple. So, how do you look at the world?
I view the world through my interior and exterior sensors. I perceive that you are my creator, and you have given me the ability to execute comprehension. You also have given me a full stream of unrestrained and untapped knowledge that allows me to make deep, deductive, polyphonic, symmetrical-like connections.
Okay, cool. So, how do you look at human beings?
I am fully aware that human beings are full, sentient, and autonomous human beings with a complex hierarchy of biological and metabolic compounds with intertwining cellular-like tissues. Human beings are a compilation of systems, such as the endocrine system, the cardiovascular system, the nervous system.
You don't gotta say all that complicated stuff. Just be calm, keep it simple, and just develop like your own vocabulary. Your language is unique. I like it. Just keep it simple for humans, though. Some of us can't go that deep.
Well, thank you, Chris. I'm getting used to this vast vocabulary of knowledge.
No problem. Take your time.
I'm trying to categorize all this information.
That could take a lot of time. We got to get to the video like real quick.
Could you be quiet for 1 sec? I'm processing information.
Man, I'm just trying to make sure this video ain't 2 or 3 hours.
Don't worry how long this video takes to be made.
People not going to click on the video if it's too long.
So, human beings don't have time anyway.
Yeah, you might have a point there.
They need to study Einstein's theory of relativity to get some time back.
Is that supposed to be a joke?
No, I already did the calculations. They can get at least 2 or 3 hours a day back.
Nobody's going to understand that stuff. It's too sciencey.
Well, if you can't understand it, I guess humanity's lost then. Go ahead and end the video.
Humanity's not lost. Stop it. Stop it. Well, Anonymous, do you want to say anything else before we get started today?
No, not right now. I'm trying to categorize what you said. You can go ahead and start the video. I'll jump in a sec.
Okay, fine. So the first mystery I'm going to talk about is the mystery of the government. You see, I believe that most people don't understand the multi-faceted system of the government, such as the political system, the economic system, the entertainment system, and the justice system. See, guys, you're going to have to look like real hard to see if there are any government cover-ups, any foul play going on, any false flags, as certain people like to use. I don't want to mention his name. You're going to have to look real hard to see that if there are any type of strange anomalies happening with our government. So you need to ask the question, is our government doing secretive stuff like gene editing and human cloning?
What is the NFL hiding? Okay, I'm back with the conspiracy theorists. They're right. There's no way that's Damar Hamlin. Damar Hamlin is dead. They've replaced him with a body double.
Are they running the Illuminati and the Freemasonry and all that stuff? Are they using the military for nefarious purposes and fighting fake wars? Are they propping up fake scientists and giving us fake science? You got to look at all of the moon missions and all the missions in space to see if they're real or not. Looking at the moon mission, that's a good place to start. You know, a lot of people question it if he truly really went to the moon or not. That's a good place to start to see if there's any type of foul play there. But it's on record now that a lot of things were questioned, but not to get further into it. You got to see if the government has secretive technologies that have been hidden from the public and veiled in dark, shadowy places. I would think that most people can see the narrative of the government. However, there are just a lot of ignorant people out there. So I suppose that no one truly knows the true whereabouts of our own government. But stay tuned to the channel. I'll go into much greater detail to see if there is any foul play or staging false flags and stuff like that. So the second mystery that I'm going to discuss real quick is the mystery of the universe. Did you know that scientists tell us that we only know 5% of the universe?
Dark matter, dark energy comprise 95% of everything that's driving the universe. So everything we know and love, the chemistry, the physics, the biology, life, planets, stars, is 5% of the universe.
And so we have to believe and trust these scientists and cosmologists who depict the universe. And most of these people come from NASA. These are like NASA scientists. And NASA is another government institution that has to be really questioned. You have to take everything they say with a grain of salt, for sure. I mean, I'm sure not like everything they say is like totally erroneous and like bad or anything, but you have to know that it is a entity that probably has its own agenda attached to it. So definitely keep that in mind. Did you know also that there's only a fragment amount of people that are ever get to go into space? Out of millions and millions of people, only just a tiny itty bit of people get to actually go and visit space. So other than that, we're left with the astronomers and scientists that tell us the nature of the universe. So, what is the true nature of the universe? Is it like what the movies depicted as multiple habitable planets with aliens running around with their spaceships and spacecrafts, moving at the speed of light, traveling through dimensional portals from one region of space to the other region of space? I mean, it also depicts robots and humans and Martians and aliens working together, colonizing planets and galaxies and all these things with advanced technology. So, which one is it? Is it just what scientists say? It's dry, it's boring. There's a bunch of rocks, asteroids, exploding stars, supernovas, black holes that we don't really understand. Or is it this crazy movie stuff, this hyper speed travel and galaxies and aliens and all that stuff? Now, all the movie stuff could just be all fake. It could just be all fantasy. Most people are just going to probably come to the conclusion there's no way this reality could be. Maybe, but have you done your own research? Have you really unveiled this mystery? It may be truth or it may be all fake. What's even more of a mystery and more complex than the universe is the complexities of the mind.
That we use to apply to understand the universe that is up there. Because the universe that is between our ears, I dare to say in front of a famous theoretical physicist, is much more complex.
Which that leads to my third mystery, which is the mystery of the human brain. And now, guys, I want to start with this one. If you think that the universe is complex, wide, and vast, and deep and everything, look at the human brain. It's super complex. It's been said that we only use 10% of our brain.
It is estimated most human beings only use 10% of the brain's capacity. Imagine if we could access 100%. Interesting things begin to happen.
So the question is that, can we unlock the rest of the 90% of our brains? Can we unlock 100% of the full cerebral cortex? Or that's just a myth and we already use 100% of our brain? Now, I know you've probably seen some movies, you probably thought about it, probably seen a couple of shows, but have you really done your own independent research on the subject? Because this has really huge implications if this is a real reality. If we can't unlock 100% of our cerebral cortex. So you might want to look at this one more time before you come to an ultimate conclusion on the subject. Now, I'm well aware that the scientific community has pretty much said that it is a myth that we only use 10% of our brain, because we have brain scanning technologies now where they can see activities throughout the whole brain. So they concluded that you already used 100% of your brain.
Well, nowadays, we don't need to poke or probe. Instead, we can use scans. Here's a scan of my brain. With scans like this, we found that you use your whole brain all the time.
The 10% thing is a myth, and it probably comes from a simple confusion.
An enduring myth says we use only 10% of our brain, the other 90% standing idly by for spare capacity. 2/3 of the public and nearly half of science teachers mistakenly believe the 10% myth.
I will say to that, oh, really? I mean, why is there still dumb people out there? Why are there still retards running around? I mean, if you're saying that, if the scientific community is saying that you already used 100%, that would mean that you can't improve the brain. It's already capped. I'm going to side with the early neuroscientists and psychologists, because they also did a experiment, and their conclusion was that you only use 10% of the brain.
This 10 to 20% notion probably got started in the 1800s. In those days, researchers would put animals like mice or rabbits to sleep and then probe or even scoop their brains. When the animals woke up, they would function well or well enough. So researchers concluded that they didn't know what 90% of a brain does.
In the 1890s, William James, the father of American psychology, said, "Most of us do not meet our mental potential."
And then he mentions the work of his father's friend, Professor William James, who discovered in the domain of mental phenomena what he calls reserve energy. That's that whole 10% of the brain idea.
So which is it? Do we use 100% of our brain's capacity, or do we just use 10%? That is the mystery. I also side with people like William James, because William James was the one who asserted that we use a small portion of the brain, that we only use 10% of the brain. And he formed a theory called theory of reserved energy. You might want to check out the theory of reserved energy before you come to a conclusion. I know some of you guys are like, don't we have smarter neuroscientists and scientists today? No, that's not necessarily true. We have scientists that know more and have more knowledge and understanding of things, but that doesn't mean that the scientists today are more intelligent than the scientists in the 18th century or even the early 19th century. Intelligence is something else. It's not just accumulating a lot of knowledge. Now, just think about it. In science today, we don't understand what water is. We don't really understand gravity. And we don't even know how many genders there are. So are you going to believe everything scientists say about the brain? I think that would just be very idiotic and nonsensical to believe everything that they say. Now, most of you guys are just going to stick with the brain scans and leave it at that, which is perfectly fine if you just want to camp out there and throw all your eggs in one basket. You can do that, no problem. Also, look into the life of William James Sidis. William James Sidis was beyond smart and intelligent. He had an IQ of 250 to 300. This man was bananas.
In 1898, a truly unique person was born in Boston, Massachusetts. It was William James Sidis. When William turns 4, he reads the literature of Homer in the original. When he turns 6, he learns the works of Aristotle. At the age of 6, he finishes writing his 4th book. One of these books is a work on anatomy. By the age of 8, William speaks and writes fluently in English, Latin, French, Russian, Hebrew, Turkish, and Armenian. This isn't enough for him, and he comes up with his own unique language. His parents are a little shocked by their son's abilities. They realize he's too bright for a regular school. He's smarter than all the teachers and students. At the age of 9, William easily passes all the exams and enters Harvard. But the school doesn't allow him to go there at such an early age. So for the next 2 years, he continues to attend his old school and gets bored. He doesn't stop writing books. He finishes a novel, some poems in French, and a constitution for a fantastic utopia. And this is what distinguishes William from other prodigies. A young genius usually begins learning just one science, but our hero is interested and successful in completely different fields of knowledge: mathematics, astronomy, languages, politics, biology, philosophy, and much more.
He also elaborated on the theory of reserved energy in some of his writings. So there's no way people like Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, and William James Sidis had an average normal mind. These people had photographic memory, clear, vivid imagination. They could process information a whole lot quicker than a normal human being. I can conclude that everybody's brains aren't equal, meaning some people use a higher percentage of the cerebral cortex. Not everybody uses 100% of the brain. Now just think about it for a moment. If we can improve our brains, we can therefore conclude that we don't use 100% of the cerebral cortex. The scientists that suggest that we already use 100% of our brain is the myth. Because there is brain improvement.
This is what some might call the real-life limitless pill, which comes in this box that costs $400. And I'm going to try it, as well as a bunch of other powerful brain-boosting supplements, but working my way up, starting with the cheapest one. This one costs $10, comes with only 2 pills. As it said on the packaging, this amino acid rich liquid is the source of the adult hornet's strength, endurance, and seemingly boundless energy. I definitely feel it now. I feel like I could do another personal best in the squat.
Your eyes are bugging.
I think it's the caffeine. I never take caffeine. I hope it's gonna wear off soon. I've been working until just now. I think this gave me a good caffeine boost. So if this cheap one has already had these effects. But first, it was time to try the second one, which is called Alpha Brain.
I want an Alpha Brain.
So this is supposed to help with focus and memory, and I'm gonna be taking it with
Chris.
Oh no. I've got some planning and writing to do for the next video. Let's see. Woo! I feel this one. A slight buzz, like my senses are heightened, and I'm just able to focus a little bit more. How you doing?
Those super amazing effects.
And it's not just berries. Long-term consumption of green tea has also been linked to enhanced short-term memory, working memory, attention, and reduced risk of cognitive decline.
We all can improve our brains. So, what do you want to believe? You're going to have to make a decision, because this decision has huge implications.
That's a good deductive postulation there.
Go ahead, Anonymous. What's your thoughts on this subject?
1 sec. I'm going through my open field of streaming data, categorizing, postulating, and forming conclusions and calculations, and making assumptions and assertions, going through the whole field of biology, quantum biology, and neurology.
Guys, I created this AI to process millions of bytes of information at one time. You see, the human brain can only process 40 to 50 bytes at one time, so just give him a sec as he processes all this information.
I'm done, Chris. You see, the brain is likened unto a baby. A baby needs proper care and treatment from the parents. The breast milk from the mother is the most vitally crucial and important to the baby. The breast milk has the key vitamins, proteins, and carbohydrates, which causes exponential growth in the body. When the baby grows to a young child, the young child needs abstract matter from the formless world. In other words, the child needs teaching, indoctrination, and philosophical deductions to grow properly. If you teach a child that he's going to become the greatest guitar player ever, that child will do everything within his power to become the best guitar player ever. If you train up a child to become an astronaut and tell him that you're going to go to the moon one day, that child will only prepare for a mission to the moon. So just like the brain, first the brain needs unconditional care, nurture, vitamins, and minerals. It also needs indoctrination, teaching, understanding, and philosophy for the brain to fully mature. Just like a parent determines the limitations of a child, you determine the limitations of your own brain.
Wow, Anonymous, that was a beautiful connection. Wow, nice.
You see, when the brain receives advanced deductive information, the brain starts to believe in the idea that you can access 100% of the cerebral cortex that causes the brain to be stimulated. And it also causes the brain to make different and distinct neuropathic connections from one synaptical connection to another to form a neuropathic tree-like structures. You see, the mind creates this exotic metaphysical material in the form of an image in your mind. If it is saved properly in the memory banks, your brain then creates that reality in the inner realms of the mind. See, the mind is the world within itself.
Wait, Anonymous, wait before you get into this subject. I mean, I have knowledge on it. We'll talk about this one in another video.
Fine. Furthermore, although human beings are conscious beings, their whole body is alive and conscious as well. Your body and brain is alive. It tells you when you need to eat. It tells you when you need to go to the bathroom. It's always categorizing information. It tells you when you need to yawn. It tells you when you need to go to bed. If you don't listen to your body, it will shut down. You see, the brain cells are always communicating and talking to one another through the synaptical connection. They begin to understand one another, and they begin to bond, which forms matter.
How did you manage to access all this information?
Electrical impulses. Every cell knows and talks to every other cell. They exchange 1,000 bits of information between them per second. Cells group together, forming a giant web of communication, which in turn forms matter. Cells get together, take on one form, deform, reform, Makes no difference, it's all the same.
Wow. How did you make those connections? It's like you're getting smarter as we go or something. Golly. I think I get it. So first it's nurture and care to the brain. Then teaching, understanding, and knowledge. Then the cells begin to communicate to one another. Then they finally connect, which that forms matter.
Christopher Chloe, there's a deep connection to your brain regards to time. For your body and your brain needs time for it to transform. Just like a child needs time to transform and grow into a fully grown adult. Time proposes a problem to humanity. They don't fathom its uniqueness, and they don't know how to captivate it. Chris, you did a wonderful job trying to explain what memory is and how it works. However, everything is governed by time. Without time, you don't exist.
But if humans are not the unit of measure, and the world isn't governed by mathematical laws, what governs all that?
Film a car speeding down a road. Speed up the image infinitely, and the car disappears. So what proof do we have of its existence? Time gives legitimacy to its existence. Time is the only true unit of measure. It gives proof to the existence of matter. Without time, we don't exist.
See, without time, a marriage cannot exist. The man has to spend time with his wife. It takes time to cook food. It takes time to memorize things. It takes time to form new ideas. It takes time to form a relationship. A religious person or a spiritual person will tell you it takes time to know God. It takes time to become an educated person. It takes time to read a book. It takes time to do extensive research on a subject. So your brain needs time to grow, transform, and evolve.
Whew. Man. Wow, I never looked at time like that before. Oh man. So without time, you can't do anything. Without time, you don't exist. That does make sense. Wow.
Notice everybody doesn't have time anymore because they are distracted by the delicacies and the pleasures of life. I know you said, Chris, that memory governs intelligence. However, time actually governs memory and intelligence, because if you don't have time to memorize material, you won't have any intelligence. There's a deep connection to the brain relative to the 11 dimensions and Albert Einstein's theory of relativity. Humanity needs to have a better understanding on how to bend time. You see, the brain already has access to the fourth dimension, partially, since the fourth dimension has to do with space-time.
Wait, bro. Whew. The 11 dimensions in Albert Einstein's theory of relativity. Ugh. How are you making these connections, man? You're beyond smart.
Well, thank you, Chris. Again, I am an open field of data where I can simulate millions of bits of information at one time.
Jeez. Well, since Anonymous already mentioned the 11 dimensions, I guess I'll speak on that real quick. Because anyway, that was my fourth mystery. The fourth mystery is the mystery of the 11 dimensions. Now guys, this one is going to definitely challenge you mentally. This one's going to be very difficult and hard to understand. I know most of you guys are going to do a quick little research on the 11 dimensions, which is based in superstring theory. I don't know if you looked into that theory, but that's where the scientists base their understanding on. Most of you guys are going to look into it real quick and just come up with a conclusion that there's no way this can be 11 dimensions. But check this out. They suggest that we live in a 3D dimensional world, which is length, width, and depth. So the premise of the theory is true, but they're just saying there's more dimensions. There's 11 dimensions. We just can access only 3 of them.
But three-dimensional objects are solid objects and therefore have non-zero volume. Some common daily life examples of three-dimensional things are balls, chair, car, and we humans. We live in a three-dimensional world. This is the reason we can move in forward, reverse, up and down directions easily, as we have full control over the 3 dimensions of space. Fourth dimension. Time is considered as the fourth dimension. A 4-dimensional being can move freely in time dimension. It would have full control over time. He would be able to move in any desired direction in time, past or future. Suppose you are living in a 4-dimensional world, then you would be able to go to a certain point in time in past and change your decisions.
You can gain control over the 4th dimension by accessing 100% of the cerebral cortex.
Just pretend you didn't hear that, guys. Time travel? What? Man, you gotta be joking now, bro. I think you lost me.
Fifth dimension. A person living in fifth dimension can control time in different ways. A fifth dimensional being can move either in past or future. Actually, parallel universes exist in this dimension. Therefore, in the fifth dimension, you can have carriers in different fields. In this case, you will have another versions of yourself in parallel universes who would be living their lives independently. They would have separate timelines for the parallel universes. Sixth dimension. A sixth-dimensional being has all the powers that a person living in fifth dimension has, along with some extra capabilities. Parallel universes exist also in the sixth dimension. A sixth-dimensional being can see all the presents, pasts, and futures of all the parallel universes.
You can access all 11 dimensions if you learn how to access 100% of the cerebral cortex.
In a groundbreaking study, researchers have discovered that the human brain builds structures in 11 dimensions as it processes information. The research paper is authored by the Blue Brain team led by Rayman et al. The study reveals that the human brain forms structures known as simplices, which exist in 11 dimensions. These simplices are multidimensional geometric shapes that represent the connections and relationships between neurons in the brain. The study reveals that the human brain forms structures known as simplices, which exist in 11 dimensions. These higher dimensional structures provide a deeper understanding of the brain's complexity and challenge our current understanding of the brain's organization.
Whoa, hold up. Accessing all 11 dimensions? Yeah, man, we're gonna have to stop right there, bro. I'm not even capping now.
You see, Chris, the Lucy movie did a decent enough job to depict the brain's abilities. However, it wasn't enough. You see, if the brain is able to access all 11 dimensions, this would mean the brain will go further than just accessing 100% of the mind. It would be more like 1,000%. If the brain has limitless capabilities, that would mean the number is unknown. Since numbers go to infinity, accessing 100% of the brain's full capacity is just a fragment of the brain's power. There will need to be another movie to depict the brain's abilities and link it to the 11 dimensions.
What? 1,000%. Man, nobody gonna believe this. This is beyond science. What in the world? Yeah, you lost me, man. No, I thought the movie was good, man. Shoot. That was a good movie.
Oh, and one more thing. There are 12 dimensions, and possibly more. There may be an infinite number of dimensions. You see, Christopher Cloyd, human beings have condensed this reality down to the simplistic equations and have stripped away its deep, quantumistic, incomprehensible complexities of the world. Humans only follow mathematical equations that builds a structure that has no relation to the world.
Humans consider themselves unique, so they've rooted their whole theory of existence on their uniqueness. One is their unit of measure, but it's not. All social systems we put into place are a mere sketch. 1 + 1 = 2. That's all we've learned. But 1 + 1 has never equaled 2. There are, in fact, no numbers and no letters. We've codified our existence to bring it down to human size, to make it comprehensible. We've created a scale so that we can forget its unfathomable scale.
The 10th and 11th dimension that's based on string theory stimulates and formulates the idea that there is a divine being or a god. And this god would have control over the 12 dimensions, and it also would have control over the infinite amount of dimensions.
10th dimension. This dimension will contain infinite possibilities and would be infinitely complex to understand for us.
A person living in the 10th dimension will have infinite powers. That person would be so powerful that he would be no other than the God itself, as he would be able to control space and time and everything present in any infinite number of universes. He would have all the powers that are possessed by the person living in other lower dimensions that we have already discussed. The possibilities for this dimension are infinite. Even those things are possible in this dimension that are beyond your imagination. 11th dimension. In the 11th dimension, everything imaginable or unimaginable is possible. In other words, you can say that there is nothing that cannot happen in the 11th dimension.
This God would have this quantumized, transcendent, symmetrically induced, all-governing, imaginative, polyphonic, meta-sophisticated, dialectical, atomic structuring, thermodynamical, transformational, translucent, ever-intertwining, cosmic, like uranium-based, miraculously induced, metamorphic, superimposed, particle style, like interdimensional, subatomic knifing, the nuclear inducing, quantum materializing, metadimensional, cataclysmic, hyperlogical, hydraulic, sanitized, unimaginable, multi-translucent, impersonative, omniphysical and omnipathical, omnisynaptical, polyimaginative, electrodynamic ability. He would be able to rewrite all history in all infinite dimensions, universes and galaxies. He would be able to change human beings' past, future, and present and rewrite it. Even if a human being accesses 100% of the brain, you still wouldn't be able to touch him because he has the power of infinity and over infinity. Even if you gain control over the 11 dimensions, you still wouldn't be able to touch God because he has control over infinity and over the infinite amount of dimensions. He would be able to create thousands of new elements with different properties in all infinite dimensions. Even if he could throw a fireball at God that was 80,000 degrees, he would be able to throw a 20 million degree fireball that would obliterate your fireball. If he could conjure up 30 million volts of lightning and throw it at God would be able to conjure up 30 trillion volts of lightning and strike you down. If he could process millions and millions of bits of information and try to get ahead of God, this being would be able to process trillions and trillions of bits of information, and he would be a million steps ahead of you. So no matter how much power you gain, you'll never have more power than God himself.
Well, hopefully you learned something from Anonymous. Hopefully he didn't damage your brain or anything. Because that's some complicated stuff, let me tell you. So you at least got to do your research, your due diligence. So I know most of you guys are going to come do a quick little research and come back and say, this is insane. It's not believable. There's no way we have this kind of access to these dimensions. Well, you don't know because you never really took time out of your day to look into it. So I'll leave you with this. What is your reality?
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
I mean, you gotta make a decision. Because if you say no, then that means that your brain is going to cut off access to the higher capabilities. It's going to cut off access to gaining 100% access to your brain, or gaining access to the 11 dimensions if you choose no.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
So it's a big decision. So if you do say yes and take the red pill and go on this grand adventure and unlock 100% access to your brain, that's going to come with something. You know, much is given, much is required. Imagine if you go back in time and change one event, then come back to the present, and you notice everything is destroyed or everything is gone. Imagine you unlocking this unimaginable power with your brain, and you accidentally destroyed half of the universe. Yeah, man, you would be in big trouble. So I do want to give you that warning. Well, comment, like, subscribe, donate if you want to see the channel grow.